So the Active Travel Group is really looking at a strategy that will help, and a plan that will help work out where the gaps are in the cycle network, work out what some of the policy changes are that we need. And we've got the Department of Health, Department of Education, WA Police, Department of Transport, WestCycle as a non-government organisation, Road Safety Commission, the RAC, other organisations as well, all focused on designing where necessary our environment, our built environment for ease of commuting, and for just giving people that little bit of confidence to know that they're on a separated principal shared path. The research does suggest that people are hesitant to use active travel because they're a bit scared, a bit worried about interactions with motor vehicles. So we've got to give people that confidence that their journey to work or to wherever is one that can be done in as safe a fashion as possible. And that's where government does have a job to do, investing in that principal shared path network, local government making local paths and roads as safe as possible. The reality is that here in the Perth CBD, we could be doing a lot more when it comes to encouraging people to take an active travel means to get to work. That said, there's this Parliament, but there's also many corporations down St George's Terrace that are doing a fantastic job when it comes to encouraging people by providing great end-of-trip facilities. I know there's almost a competition between some of the big corporates. They know that to retain staff, you must have good end-of-trip facilities. If you want the very best engineers, finance experts, legal people, you need to be able to ensure that they have good end-of-trip facilities, and that way you'll retain your staff. It's something that people are asking for when it comes to choosing where they end up working. Well, empty car parks are a good indication, but really parking space is something that we should be reluctant about giving over. I mean, what kind of low value use is a parking bay? It's something that's not used 24/7 generally. In fact, some parking bays are only used for about 8 hours a day. There's far more efficient, far more effective, far more productive means of using land than giving land over to parking bays. To me, the biggest and best incentive of all for anyone is the health benefits that they're going to be getting by taking an active travel means. The health benefit you get if you've got a half hour, 40-minute, maybe an hour-long ride into work, that is an excellent investment in your personal health. That's a great investment in your well-being. So we really do encourage people to look at active travel options. Really disappointing that compared with, say, 20 years ago, the number of students walking, wheeling, riding to school, it's flipped. 25 years ago, we had around 80% of kids getting to school under their own steam. Now, in 2023, we've only got 20% of kids getting to school under their own steam. Now that's got serious consequences, long-term consequences for the health of those youngsters. It's got consequences for their sense of independence, their self-reliance, and that's something we've got to turn around. There are a number of initiatives. There's the Your Move program, and that is the program that the Department of Transport delivers, that works with a school to work out what some of the challenges might be. So for some schools, the challenge might be as simple as having a safe place for kids to store their bike or scooter. So, we can work at solving that problem. For other schools, it's a matter of parents and carers not feeling confident about the safety levels on the local road network. That's something we can work at as well. Ironically, that problem's often exacerbated by the fact that there's so many kids that are being driven to school But then there's so many cars around that some parents are worried about the congestion being a danger to the kids. So you get this vicious cycle of decline. But if we can work at those sorts of problems and provide incentives to kids and have things like a ride to school day, then that can help turn the problem around and really encourage people. Having champion cyclists like Jai Hindley, Ben O'Connor, Michael Storer, a whole lot of guys who are doing really well, and there's no doubt about it, West Australia, we're way ahead of the other states. I mean, in the Tour de France this year, there were 12 Australian cyclists and 4 of them from Western Australia. Having those sporting heroes is a great way, I think, of influencing the West Australian public into realising that cycling is a great sport, that it's a beautiful spectacle to see on TV, but also to realise that when you're seeing a cyclist on the road, on the bike path, especially from November, December, January time, it could well be one of our elite riders who's just back home for Christmas and on a bit of a training ride. So there's a great connection that can be made there that I think can really inspire people to see cycling as a very accessible sport and one where Australians can be absolute champions and winners of great events like the Giro d'Italia, to do really well in the Tour de France and to excel in all the other big races. If you're in the regions, you've got easy access to gravel, that's for sure. But from Perth, there's, I think, a fair degree of usage of the heritage trails, and I just wonder if perhaps that's almost getting to a saturation point, and we really do need to find or ensure that there are other gravel trails around the Perth metropolitan area, in the hills especially, that are in easy reach of people who might want to ride from anywhere in the suburban area, ride up the escarpment and then enjoy the huge network of gravel trails that are out there. I think it's always important for government to have a peak body type organisation to go to. A peak body has a huge responsibility, it has to be said, to gather together all the different views within a particular community, in this case in the cycling community. So there's a big responsibility on WestCycle's shoulders there, but whether or not it's talking about the design of a deviation for some roadworks and construction of new paths, or about the actual design of future paths, those sorts of things. WestCycle, I know, does a lot of work feeding into those processes, and that is really appreciated. All sorts of advocacy things, and we've got to look at some of the successes that we've had over the last 5 or so years, thinking of things like the introduction of safe passing distances. That was an idea that came out of the cycling community that was advocated for to enable government to realise that these are some of the changes that need to be made. So I think WestCycle does a really admirable job of advocating on behalf of the cycling community. Look, I wish it was stronger. Amongst the staff here at Parliament, it's fantastic. We've got some really dedicated cyclists in the staff, people who always come to work. Rain, hail or shine, they come to work on their bike. But I must say, in the Legislative Assembly, the part of the Parliament that I'm in, 59 members of the Legislative Assembly, including the Premier. I think I'm the only one who really cycles on a daily basis. Now, people do have lots of excuses. Some people, ministers, have very heavy workloads and ministerial responsibilities. They'll be in here sitting till after 7 o'clock at night, and then they're off to meetings, and then they've got to get up early for a breakfast meeting, and then they've got all sorts of paperwork to carry around with them. So there are logistics issues about being a member of Parliament and riding by bike. But I find that with a little bit of planning and a bit of organisation, I can do it. I absolutely love Strava. It's my favourite social media app, and some people are a bit sceptical about it, saying, oh, it's competitive and it's forcing people to try and outdo one another. I don't see that at all. I think actually with Strava there's a very strong culture of encouragement, a very nurturing, positive environment there, that it is all about encouraging, looking out for one another and sharing the path as we go. That's a very important thing, and I think Strava can underpin that. Strava can definitely help people see where the paths are, explore, find the safest means to get from A to B. And Strava also enables people to record their own personal journey. Look, I am a self-confessed mammal, middle-aged man in Lycra. I love the social aspect of cycling. I love the fitness aspect, as we've been saying, but I also love the effectiveness of it as a commuting means. So I've been a member of this Parliament since 2008, and I've been cycling to work here at Parliament when Parliament's sitting for most of that time. I've actually increased it though. Now I just don't let myself get put off if it's a rainy day. Anything beats sitting in a metal box in a traffic jam.